Hey, what's up, wine drinkers? Our great big Wham fam out there. Everybody listening to the only bi-coastal podcast pairing wine and movies. Welcome to Wine About Movies. My name is Brendan Nagel. I'm an LA-based filmmaker and an old friend of our co-host here.
Hey guys, it's Chell, your favorite wine drinker, wine writer, and creator of ChellLovesWine.com, based in New York City, but coming to you from Florida for this podcast.
This is true. Yeah, you went to the old Hollywood.
Old Hollywood, yes. Here visiting mom and dad in sunny Florida. I'm escaping all of the wintry storms happening in New York, so not complaining about that.
Yeah, we've had a brutal winter the last couple days as well. It actually rained like 2 days in a row in LA.
Is that what winter in LA is rain?
Every once in a while, there's a big, I wouldn't say monsoon that comes through. But anyway, last night were the Academy Awards, the 90th annual.
Yes.
Did you tune in, Chels? Was it streaming?
Oh, I did. I watched the whole thing. I love the red carpet beforehand to like hear the stars talk and see what they're wearing, because that's like one of my favorite parts of award shows is like the glam that goes into the whole thing. But then I did watch the entire 4-hour show, which I think is a little long. But it was still great, and I loved it. I mean, I love award shows, and the Oscars is like the top-notch one.
It's like the number one, but this was actually the all-time low ratings. Ratings have never been lower.
Really? I mean, yeah. I guess I could see that. It even
unsurpassed last year's lowest ratings ever.
Wow. So, I wonder what that is about it. I wonder if people are just not wanting to watch because they're not interested in the movies, or if because there's so many social issues that are now brought up in award shows like this, if that's why people don't tune in. I think Jimmy Kimmel did a great job. I know a lot of people don't care for him. I think he's great, and I think that he did a good job of talking social issues while still being funny.
Yeah, he walked the fine line, because it's, everyone's walking on
eggshells.
Oh, eggshells. Yeah, everyone's walking on eggshells right now. Everyone loves and hates it when the celebrities speak up for whatever they want.
I mean, I personally love it. I think they have a great platform, so they should use it to spread what they think and like help other people who aren't able to speak up. But I think that Jimmy Kimmel did a really great job of like walking that fine line. But I also love when a host just like goes in and is savage and doesn't care about that line and just like goes in on everyone. Like, I always think those shows are great too, because those are like the ones where you like clasp your hands to your face and you're like, oh my God, did he just say that? And that makes for the best television.
It'd be funny if the Oscars were like a roast.
Yeah, that would be so savage if they were just like, hey, Meryl Streep, you remember this one time? Like, if they just went in on like all of these people, I think it would be so funny. I mean, they hit on Meryl Streep a lot last night, but she's like so easy to just like make not the butt of jokes, but like the center of it, because she's like
the piñata of success.
Yeah.
It's easy to like, oh, Meryl got nominated again. Oh, Meryl, yeah, exactly.
The only time Meryl Streep hasn't been nominated for an award since like 1982, it was a 3-year span, was like the longest
from 92 to 95.
Yeah, which is the longest she's never not been nominated for something, which is insane.
That's a lot of parts. I wonder if she can go back and rattle off everyone she was nominated for.
I don't know. To me, she seems like she'd be super down to earth and be like, oh my God, I can't even remember. But like on the other side of me is probably like she's got a detailed list and she's like knows every line and every part.
Every role she's ever played.
Yes.
It'd be crazy. Well, let's see. I have the list open right now. I mean, it's everyone else is talking about the Oscars still right now. Maybe we could dedicate this episode to the winners, the runner-ups, and the categories in general. What do you say?
I think it sounds like a great idea, because at the end of last episode, our initial plan was to review the movie this week that won for Best Motion Picture, but we already reviewed that movie.
We did. Chell, I think you picked the winner too. I think I lost the bet. Not only did I lose a bet, but you won the bet. The movie I picked lost, and the movie you picked won.
Yes, it's not even like we both lost, because we took bets on Best Director, Best Leading Actor, Best Leading Actress, and Best Motion Picture. And I picked right on 3 out of the 4 categories. So if you didn't listen to last week, that means Brendan has to pay for my movie pass for 2 months. And I would like to confirm I got the Venmo today for $20 for 2 months of movie pass.
That's 60 screenings you can do, Chell. Go watch 60 movies and brush it up. I'm supposed to be the movie expert, though, and you guessed 3 out of 4.
I know.
Dang. I guess I got to do some brushing up.
You got the Best Actor right, but we're going to dive into all of the categories and what we thought here in a little while. But first, we need to talk about the booze we're drinking while we're recapping the Oscars.
Yes, we do. It is the booze of the Oscars. Pepper Heidsieck.
Piper Heidsieck.
Piper Heidsieck, yes.
Yes, the official champagne of the Oscars, and they are the official champagne of the Academy Awards until 2020. They have a contract with them, and so Piper Heidsieck Cuvée Brut will be served at the Oscars and the Governor's Ball and the Oscars luncheon every year until 2020.
Well, I hope you like it.
Oh, I love it. Pete and I were supposed to fly down to Florida on Saturday morning, and since we couldn't, we opened up a bottle of Piper Heidsieck since it was Oscars weekend. Enjoyed it on a Friday night while just hanging out because it was Oscars weekend, so we figured we might as well drink like celebs.
So I opted for a less than fancy version. I went into Bevmo, the place to go for all your booze needs, and I saw that the Piper Heidsieck...
Heidsieck.
I saw that the Piper Heidsieck... Heidsieck?
Yeah, it's German. Well, it sounds German, but it's French.
Das stimmt. It does sound German. Aber parlez-vous français?
Yeah, but it's French, yeah.
I went into Bevmo, the Piper Heidsieck, and I saw that was about $50 a bottle.
It is.
So...
Which is really... That's like a moderately priced champagne. It's not even like the upper echelon of champagnes.
Wow.
Champagne's expensive because this wine... it takes a long time to make good champagne. Champagne has to be fermented twice, so it takes a long time. It's made
no kidding.
Yeah, so you ferment it once in the barrel, and then you do the second fermentation in the bottle. They do the first fermentation, they bottle it, then they add more yeast to do a second fermentation, and then the wine sits in there for 3 to 5 years sometimes.
Whoa.
Even longer. And these things called lees develop, Lees, and they're dead yeast cells. And so the wine is called sitting on the lees, and that's what gives champagne all this beautiful flavor. Sometimes people go in there and manually have to turn all the bottles to get all the lees to the neck so that when they disengorge the bottle and get all of the sediment out. So champagne's a very labor-intensive process, so it's really expensive, and it's got this la-ti-da-ness about it, so they can charge more money for it. So
of course, yes, the La-ti-da is great. I opted out of the La-ti-da, and I found Cook's California Champagne.
How much did that
Less
one
than
cost
$10. $9.95.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to what the difference is, because it says champagne. So is that like Scotch whiskey?
It says California champagne.
Yes, and there's a difference, I presume.
Well, yeah, because it's not champagne at all. It's a sparkling wine.
That's false advertising. I want my $10 back, but I already opened the bottle. I probably can't get it back. I wish we were recording. Beware, if it's a warm champagne, I guess, it will go all over.
Anything that's bubbly and warm, it makes the bubbles like way more crazy, and it'll just pop out about. Like if you've ever tried to like chug warm champagne out of a bottle, it just like sprays everywhere. It doesn't work. You need to have your sparkling wines chilled just as cold as you would chill a sweet wine, so like very, very chilled.
I thought it was recommended serve chilled, not warning serve chilled.
No, you should definitely, because
little warning line
it could be dangerous opening it too, because all of the bubbles. So if it's chilled, the bubbles are less crazy. And it's,
yeah, I don't even know where the cork went. That thing just flew. It just fired out.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. Honestly, when you open a bottle of champagne, it should be as quiet as a queen's fart. That's how loud the noise should be, that when you open the bottle, it should make a...
This queen was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should make a quiet.
This one was not gentle. So folks, do not drink and drive. Definitely do not drink champagne and drive, because the cork it'll be messy.
Yeah, so definitely chill your stuff, but California sparkling wine is just what it is. It's sparkling wine. It's not an actual champagne. It can only be called champagne if it's made in Champagne, France, which California is not. But a lot of champagne houses are being like, oh my God, California is kind of cool. So they are making similar style wines in California, like Moet Chandon. They're French, but they have Chandon, which is just in...
Chandon.
Chandon. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah,
yes.
So that's a California-based version of the Moet. So a lot of French houses are coming to California to like make wines, but they're not champagne. They're not.
Gotcha. I've been had. So what you're telling me is that I've been had.
Yeah,
but it's extra dry. I'm guessing it's going to be similar to it. So I went with the ghetto wine, or the ghetto champagne, and I'm taking a rather ghetto approach because needless to say, it is not chilled. So I put ice cubes in the glass. How frowned upon is this in the wine world?
Very frowned upon, because number one, it's not going to be great for your bubbles because it's the water in there. It's just not going to be great. Ice isn't always flavorless, so it's going to change the taste of what you're drinking when it melts. Like sometimes you get a weird tasting ice cube and stuff. It's going to change the way your wine tastes. So it's really not the best option.
Well, here we go. I'm going to try it anyway. Let's see what happens. That's fun. I like that. It's dry. It's fruity. It reminds me a little bit of last week's.
That's really bad if it reminds you of that, because champagne should not taste like last week's Riesling.
Oof. Okay. Well,
Champagne should be very dry and crisp. It should have a lot of acid in it, and it should have these like really lovely like toasted oak notes, like bread, and that's from the lees and the yeast. They give it like this bready quality, and it should also have like apple and pear and lemon. It should be tart and bright.
I'm getting some tart and some flavor, yeah, but I don't have the dryness of the bread, I guess.
It'll give you those like brioche and oak and maybe like a little caramel, and that's from the wine aging. It gives it that depth of flavor. Like that one's probably very one note, and if it tastes sweet, then that's just not good at all. If it's extra dry, it should not taste like the Riesling at all.
Well, I guess I guess I picked up the wrong. And for $10, I don't know what else I'm gonna get. Damn. Well,
I know.
And this bottle is also, by the way, this bottle is probably bigger than the bottle of Barefoot I got a few weeks ago too. Like this is a large supply. Like I am set for.
What's
a
the
while.
milliliters on that?
Milliliters. We're looking at a solid. It says sparkling wine in tiny, fine, thin print at the bottom. Of course it does.
Yep, it's not champagne.
But it did have secondary fermentation before bottling.
Well, it is required to do that, but it was probably tank fermented, which is the same method that Prosecco is and Lambrusco, and so it's cheaper. They just do both fermentations right in the tank and then put it into the bottle.
Maybe it's Prosecco that it's reminding me of. We did Prosecco for Shape of Water.
Yes.
And this is very fitting because Shape of Water won. So how about that?
It did.
It
did.
I'm having flashbacks to Dick Strickland and Fishman.
I mean, Cook's is good when you're on a budget, but the Piper Heidsieck is like the most fitting for today's episode because it's like the wine of the Oscars and it's fancy. And do you know they made the most beautiful bottle? I could put a link to a photo. Every year they make a special bottle just for the Oscars. And this year they made this awesome Art Deco bottle with like the 90th Oscars on it with Piper Heidsieck, and the bottles are beautiful.
Yeah,
I went to like a breakfast and they had awesome bottles, and I got to drink the champagne out of like a Magnum that were all like the Magnum Oscar bottles. It was really, really, really pretty.
That's awesome.
And it's a really, really delicious wine. And the Piper Heidsieck is a non-vintage wine. So non-vintage means that it's made up of grapes from multiple years. So,
interesting.
Like a wine like Veuve Clicquot, in the yellow orangey bottle.
I almost got that one actually, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody loves that one. Those are always non-vintage because they want them to taste the same every year. So they kind of mix different batches of grapes together to give the same flavor profile every year, so it's a consistent product. So like that's what a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. But also people like Dom Perignon makes vintages where they just harvest that year and they give you that vintage. So like their 2006 is a really popular vintage, but most of the time like their general public stuff is just like non-vintage, which means it's just a blend of grapes that the winemaker puts together to give you a similar flavor year to year. So this is Piper Heidsieck is a non-vintage mix of Pinot Noir, Meunier, and Chardonnay, and like some reserve wines they have.
Gotcha.
So it's super yummy. It's full of pears and apples and acid, and it's so crisp and pairs with anything. I think champagne pairs with anything anyways, though, so.
Good to know, then, that just because it says champagne doesn't necessarily mean that it is champagne.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. I just did find there is a warning label on the bottle. Folks, drink a champagne, watch yourself, keep it cool, don't shake it up, and pop it away. Now, let's see. So you had one of these bottles when you were watching the show. All right. I never know what order things are going to go in.
I have the order that they announced them at the show.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, let's just fire it off like that.
Yeah, so Best Actor in a Supporting Role, which had William Dafoe, Woody Harrelson, Richard Jenkins, Christopher Plummer, and Sam Rockwell.
Have you seen the Florida Project now that you're down in Florida, the film with William Dafoe in it?
I have not.
I heard it was going to be an early contender. I have not seen it either, but that's what it was.
I'll have to add it.
You're in Florida. No. I didn't know if there had been some local buzz since you were down there.
No, none. But Sam Rockwell ended up winning in actor in a supporting role.
He went up against Woody Harrelson, who was also in that same category for the same movie.
Yeah, but Woody Harrelson died, and his part really didn't give any substance to me. I think Sam Rockwell was a good winner for that role, and he's been in a lot of other smaller things. This was his real first win in anything, so I thought that was really great. And just he just seems so thankful to have like actually won. I love when a celebrity's like not like, oh my god, this is like my 17th one. Like it was his first one, and he was like
sincere
so
now.
happy.
Yeah, he was elated.
Then we had makeup and hairstyling. The Darkest Hour one. I'm not gonna pronounce anybody's names because I can't pronounce them. It's like because Kazu Hurio, Tuji, David Malianowski, and Lucy Sibiak.
For their makeup on turning Gary Oldman into Winston Churchill.
Yes.
I didn't even recognize him at all.
No, we were like, who is that? And then it was Gary Oldman, and we were like, wait, that does not look like him at all. Like the prosthetic work and the makeup work were insane in that movie. But that is the one category you did get right out of the 4 we picked from. So 25%.
Well, had we picked all the technical awards too, I probably would have cleaned house. I probably would have guessed both of the sound categories, editing and mixing, to be Dunkirk. Now, do you know the difference between sound editing and sound mixing?
No, but there are different people that do them, which means they are different. But if I have to take a guess, sound editing is like changing pitch levels and stuff like that. I'm not even going to guess. Just tell me.
It sounds, you'd think that too. Like, editing is kind of a weird word to use for that. Now, sound mixing was, you were describing the different pitch levels, maybe not so much pitches, but the different levels. Like, you take Dunkirk, okay, so that's a war movie. There's dialogue, there's boats, there's the natural sound of the environment, there's planes, there's probably gunfire. I can't even fathom how many different audio tracks there were and for a sequence like that, for a production of that scale. There's the different sound editors that work on different tracks, different sections, different parts of a soundscape. And there's someone that works on just the dialogue. And the person that takes that and maybe works with, like you're saying, the pitches maybe a little bit in that and just cleans up all the dialogue, gets rid of extra sounds that aren't needed. They take the ADR to sync that up with the lips. There's someone that works on all the dialogue. And then for that movie, maybe there's someone that's working on all the planes and just, all of that. And then maybe there's someone with just the tools. And then once all those independent parts are done, you have essentially, they call them stems. Like there's the dialogue stem, kind of like stems off of a tree or off of a plant, right? Think of it like that.
Okay.
So there's the dialogue stem. Ultimately, at the end of it, when you're all done, you have like a dialogue stem, a sound effect stem, and a music stem. Like when you take a movie and you sell it internationally, you have to give them the sound effects and the music, and then just the script. And then they re-record the dialogue for the
that makes
stem.
sense. That makes sense.
So that's the editing of like putting those different pieces together, and then
so that's
the mixing,
what sound.
And then the mixing comes in, and then they mix those different levels together. So let's say there's the dialogue editor, the plane editor, the boat editor, the gunfire, all these different stems. All the different stems come to a mixer, and they're the one that sits on the huge board with all the different levers, knobs, buttons, and whistles and dials, and they mix everything. So, the screams are too loud here, bring those down, let's bring in the plane. And what's even fascinating to see, like, these switchboards are massive. There's scores, if not hundreds of buttons on these things, because, you take a war movie of that scale, and now in Dolby Atmos, where there's like 75 speakers throughout the entire theater. That's fascinating.
Crazy. That would be a really hard job.
It's fun though. Like if you're good at it, like I work day to day as an editor in post-production, so I do a lot of videos. I get to do some of the audio too, and I do even a little bit of it on this show. Like sometimes I'm too quiet, so I'll bring the levels up. Yeah, and things like that. It's fun.
That's very cool.
Yes.
Well, maybe Wine About Movies will win Oscar for sound editing one day.
There you go. The feature length. And who did you say you wanted to play your part? What was it?
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson. Who would play me?
Jim Carrey's a little old for you now, but...
Let's see. Documentary what came next?
Costume design, which went to Phantom Thread. It's a movie about dresses, so it would make sense that they would win for costume design because it's a movie about, like, he was a designer who would sew special things into the dresses he made, whether it was like a word or another piece of fabric. Like he sewed secrets into all these dresses.
Literal thread. I totally thought that was like a metaphor. Now I'm so much more intrigued because that title is just so...
Yeah, no, it's literally about like a designer, like old, like Victorian era, like making gowns.
I'm more interested now that I actually know what it is.
And then we had documentary feature,
Yes, Icarus.
which Pete called that one. We were watching it and he's like, Icarus has got to win. Like that changed everything for a country. Like that was wild. And if anybody doesn't know, Icarus is the Netflix documentary on the Russian doping scandal for their Olympic athletes, which essentially got all of them banned from competing in this past Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. If anybody did compete, they had to be the Olympic athletes from Russia, OAR. They were not representing the country of Russia.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, so that all stemmed from Icarus, which there was a doctor in Russia who let this leak, and now he is in hiding somewhere because like Russia had tried to have him
KGB is not a
arrested and
fan.
killed. Yeah, so he is like hiding somewhere, I don't know where, but like at least his work won him an Oscar. Like his life is in jeopardy, but like
He's hanging out with Edward Snowden somewhere. Those two are kicking back, drinking.
I mean, Edward Snowden's in Russia, so who knows where they are.
And maybe the doc's here. They're pen pals. Brothers in treason. Anyway, what came after that?
Then we had production design, which The Shape of Water won.
So
what's production design?
Production design is, and I really thought Blade Runner was going to win that, despite your great disdain for how gray the movie was. I'm sure you could certainly appreciate. Production design is just sort of like the overall, I don't want to say look in terms of necessary visuals because look is a very generic word. But that's really, it's not so much like the lighting or the cinematography or the photography, but the production design is just, it's literally the person or the team that builds the world in which the movie is set. And to see all the different locations and areas and sets, that dystopian future of Los Angeles and Southern California and the world in Blade Runner 2049. That's why I really thought that one was going to win. I didn't think it was going to win visual effects, which it ended up doing because I thought, one, the apes in War for Planet of the Apes, just fascinating to see those faces come to life. Like, that is as cutting edge as it gets.
That was another boring as shit movie.
You really don't like apes? You like the monkeys?
No, it was so boring. Nothing happened. Literally, it was supposed to be like this War of Planet of the Apes, and like nothing happened.
Nothing of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good, but I could support Shape of Water for winning that. I thought that it was really great. All the settings and like, I don't know, I thought that was good. I could see why Blade Runner, though, you would think that could have won. But
only because we've seen so many movies in the 50s. It's great. It looked like a top-secret government laboratory in the 50s.
Yeah.
That's great. I can imagine that. I just saw Hidden Figures with one of the same...
Very good.
Yeah. You know, same...
Octavia Spencer. Same
look, same era. It's like, I've been there. We've been there. We've seen the 50s. Take me to the future. Not that it wasn't imaginative. And it was great and it was phenomenal, but whatevs. My point has been made.
Next up, we had foreign language film, which The Fantastic Woman won from Chile. I cannot comment on this category because I have not seen any of these movies.
Nope. Unfortunately, I have not either.
I'm going to assume that The Fantastic Woman was a fantastic movie, and that's why they won. Then we have actress in a supporting role, which went to Allison Janney from I, Tonya.
You called that? Yeah, you saw that one coming.
Yep. She was spectacular. I mean, she was really present in the beginning of the movie and then, you know, came in here and there throughout the end. But just like her presence on screen was outstanding. And when she went up to accept her award, she was so funny. She accepted her award and she's like, I did this all by myself.
Yeah, I thought she was going to leave right there because she wanted the jet ski.
Just the jet skis. So I thought that was so funny. And for anybody that didn't watch the show, Jimmy Kimmel, in an effort to make the award winners have shorter speeches because the shows always run over, he said that whoever had the shortest film or the shortest speech of the night would win jet skis. And he did it like a Price is Right kind of setup where he was like,
great.
You will win. And like the screen came up and there was Helen Mirren like showing off these jet skis.
Yeah.
I thought she was literally going to do that too, be like, I did it all by myself and then walk out. But it was just so funny because you know that's not true for somebody to get to that level and win that. Like so many people help get that person there.
Yeah, and it's not her first mother award. She's won an Emmy for playing the mom in the show Mom.
Yes.
So she's got moms down.
Next award we had was animated short film, which Dear Basketball won, written by LeBron James.
Number 20, Kobe Bryant.
Oh, sorry. Dear Basketball, written by LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, whoever this tall man was.
That was Kobe.
But now he's a retired basketball player and now an Oscar winner.
The location we were at, the homeowner was a huge Lakers fan, and she just jumped off the wall when Kobe won. She was so excited. I didn't even know Kobe was nominated. Like, that's an
Me
interesting way to
either.
button on a year. So, like,
Did you love it when he was like giving his speech and the microphone just rose up higher?
way up higher. Yeah, that was great.
The microphone was taller than the director of the film. Like the microphone was like 5'8" to like get to his 6'6" mouth.
And people always argue, like, is it Jordan? Is it Kobe? Who's number one? Jordan's got 6 rings. Kobe's got 5, but now he's got the golden statue
Oscar.
too. So
Those things weigh 8.5 pounds a piece.
yeah, that's probably about what they weigh. They used to be made in Rochester up until 2015, the birthplace of... No, were they made in Rochester? And now I think they were being... I might have the two cities confused. They used to be made in Rochester up until 2015 by hand, but now they're digitally... They're not like assembly line produced, but their production is much more automated now, and I believe it's in Chicago. So, or it's vice
Really?
versa, yeah. And there used to be a layer, so get this, so inside of the old Oscar statues from years past, it used to be a bronze center, and then silver coating and a gold plate finish, 24 karat gold plate finish. And now it's just the bronze and the gold.
Really?
The production on them has just changed over the years, the last couple years actually.
Interesting. Well, that's crazy. I'm trying to look up right now how much money they cost, but they say
They're valued at $800. I want to say there's like $800 worth of gold in it.
oh, it's down to 400 now.
400?
They're 13.5 inches high. They weigh 8.5 pounds. The most of that weight comes from a pewter type metal called Britannia that forms the core, and they're plated with 24 karat gold, which takes about $400 to produce.
There you go. Okay, it used to be bronze, silver, gold.
So they're getting cheaper.
They're getting cheaper, yeah. The whole industry, yeah. And everyone's getting cheaper. It's because of Movie Pass.
Yep.
Movie Pass is
Movie
ruining
Pass.
Hollywood. Actually, it's going to make Hollywood better because they're going to know exactly what we want to see, and they're going to make more of the movies that we want to see. That's the whole
Yeah.
scheme behind it.
So our next category was animated feature film, which Coco won. Well deserved. Out of all
yeah.
the other ones in this category, it was shoo-in.
Beautiful.
Yep. Then we had visual effects, which Blade Runner 2049 won, which you said you were shocked at, but deserved.
Yeah, not totally. I think shocked is, yeah, maybe not totally shocked, but it was, earned. It was beautiful. It was great. I think the cinematography and the production design were really where it shined. Because really, like, visual effects, like, what stood out? I mean, okay, cool, we made a hologram, but that's not as hard as it looks. It was all very supplemental, but there was nothing featured. Like, the way that they make those the apes' faces and the Planet of the Apes trilogy, it's fascinating. I don't know how that was. And Star Wars, of course, was probably the best, but that's never going to win a
No.
visual effects Oscar because it is the Empire. Like, Star Wars is never going to win another Oscar.
Totally agree. And then next we had film editing, which Dunkirk won.
Yes, I was. So what else was nominated there for that? Because
Baby Driver, I, Tanya, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Did you see Baby Driver?
I didn't see it yet.
Now and I'm surprised I guess I'm not totally surprised there isn't a music mixing award because I think this year, for the first time in sound mixing, one of the recipients from the Dunkirk team was the music mixer. And music mixing is incredible. It goes a long way. Like, you need to pay a lot to use this song, that song, the other song. But the way music can get mixed in music totally changes. It sets the tone. It can define the tone of a film, and in Baby Driver it certainly did. But it's really cool. Yeah, Baby Driver is great. For those that didn't see it, it's like the last movie you're ever going to see Kevin Spacey in. And it was really a really good flick. Yeah, it was great, and it was just about it's from the creator of Shaun of the Dead, and his name's Edgar Wright. Shaun of the Dead and that entire trilogy of those movies with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. I loved it. Yeah, it's great. You should check it out.
I'll have to check it out.
And it should have won film editing, in my humble opinion.
Well, sorry, Paul Mackless and Jonathan Amos next year.
Get him next year.
Our next category was documentary short subject, which Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405 was the winner.
Ooh, I beg to differ. Heaven is not a traffic jam on the 405. It is quite the opposite. The 405, for those that don't know, is the dreaded gauntlet that goes from the valley to the city in Los Angeles. There's a big hill that has the Hollywood sign on it. Now, the 101 is another freeway that goes close to the Hollywood sign. But the point is, that sign's on this ridge, this hill. There's like basically a small mountain range that separates the residential side of the city of Los Angeles from the commercial business side of it. If you're to make like really sweeping generalizations. But families up top, businesses down below. And the 405 has about 2-3 million people driving across it. Not million people, but like It might be. It might be millions of people driving across it on a daily basis. Yeah, traffic jam on the 405 is just, you're just done. Car capital of the world, everyone's there. If there's an accident, I hope you got a Snickers or ice cream or something, because it's... But I'm curious to watch that one now, yeah, because, it can be peaceful, though, if you're not in a rush. Everyone's very lax. They ever say everyone's very lax on the West Coast. I think it's just because they're just used to being stuck in traffic. And in New York, you guys gotta catch the train, get to the train, boom, 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 move,
That's
go,
the truth.
go.
Or high speed. People always tell me that if I ever moved to California, I would get so annoyed at how slow everyone moves all the time.
It's one of those things where it's like, how much do you want to get done in a day, and how many places do you need to go to do it?
Yeah.
I think your lifestyle I think it would lend itself to a California. I think you could fall for a California lifestyle, but when I come home to New York, it's never a vacation. It's an excursion because, all right, you're in it. You're like a rat in the race. And it's like, all right, where are we going? How much can I check off the list today?
Yep, it's never ending. Never ending. Our next category was live action short film, which The Silent Child won. I don't know anything in this category either.
Yes, I would be the silent adult. I have nothing to comment.
Yep. Okay, next. Adapted screenplay, Call Me By Your Name won.
And I have not read the book. I do not know the source material at all. I've heard
Me either.
rave reviews of the film.
Ditto.
But, sure. Yep.
Ditto. I mean,
Ditto.
we'll have to watch it and see. It's hard when you haven't read the book to really give an honest opinion about that. But other ones, I mean, The Disaster Artist was also in there, which I think would have been a great adapted screenplay. Molly's Game, Mudbound, Logan, which was a great movie.
I wonder what that was based on. That must have been on a graphic novel, or maybe it's because that was on characters that already existed. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Really good.
But
book,
yeah, it was really great. Then we had original screenplay, which Jordan Peele for Get Out won.
Yes, at least it got something. Like, I thought he was gonna, I don't know about sweep it, but I did say screenplay. I knew he was gonna get that. I thought he might have gotten director, but I stepped it back because it really is the screenplay. Not that the direction isn't everything too, but you can't polish a turd, and that screenplay was as good as it can get. So it
was amazing, a really well deserved. Then we had cinematography, which Blade Runner won for.
So Roger Deakins has been nominated 14 times, and this was he finally won.
Wait, 14 times and has never won?
I believe it's 14. Yeah, it's an astronaut. He was like the Martin Scorsese of cinematography.
When do you just stop showing up to the award shows? Okay, I've been nominated 14 times. When is it going to happen? When you just say I'm not going anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that was literally every shot in that movie. I know you were ragging on it last week, but if you go back and literally look at any shot, it's gorgeous. It's phenomenal.
I mean, when the clips that they showed when they were announcing cinematography and whatever, the clips were really pretty. But like I said, I slept through most of the movie, so I'll rewatch later.
Give it up for Roger. Finally.
Next category was original score, which The Shape of Water won.
Yeah, that really well deserved too. And as soon as they announced it, all the music came back to me. Like I said, it's one of those things where the music can really set the tone of the movie, and that movie could have been this bizarre, strange, it's a love story between a mute and
an amphibian
man. But the music, the music probably took it to that next level, and without that, I don't think it would have had anyone.
I agree. The music added this romanticism to it, and this fairy tale kind of mood. It was really, really nice.
I did want to get up and dance.
Yeah.
But when you're in the front row, you can't do that. Maybe in the back row.
Makes it a little harder. Then we had original song, which Remember Me from the animated film Coco won.
Coco, classic Disney Pixar, killing it.
Literally, and I mean,
that because it's about the afterlife, right?
Yeah, pun intended.
Yeah.
No, and it was a good movie. I like that they, at the Oscars, they have all the original songs. They have somebody perform them.
Yeah.
Totally thought that This Is Me from The Greatest Showman was going to win because, it's just such, a song that's so relevant to now, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
This is me, this is who I am, kind of whatever. And they performed it. It was really great. And the people who performed the Coco song, Remember Me, it was so bad.
Who? Yeah, I'm trying to. It wasn't. No, that wasn't Anita from West Side Story. What did she perform?
Nothing. She just gave
Oh, she just gave an award. Yeah, I'm just trying to. America. Did you do West Side Story when you were in school or no?
No. That was
dang.
your time. I was like High School Musical, Beauty and the Beast, and something else. I forget.
You guys did the sequel to High School Musical for your High School Musical?
Yeah. I just did.
Wait, what? Because I get doing High School Musical and High School Musical. It's meta, it's silly, but you did High School Musical too?
I think that they did.
I think they did. Oh my gosh.
But I know we did Beauty and the Beast and High School Musical, and I don't remember because I was always like the backstage person. I was never meant to be on the stage. I just was like costume changing people, make sure people were in the right spot. What kind of person would I be? Like, what would my official title been? Like, I was making sure people were in the right places to go on stage at the right time. I was making sure that, like, what would my title be?
Unit production manager.
Okay.
Maybe unit production manager or assistant director, depending on the scale of the production.
Okay, now we're getting into the last 4 categories, which were the ones we like put official bets on.
I'm glad I got one of them right.
You did get one, and I'm glad you got something. Even though I still won the 20. Yeah, even though I still won the $20, I'm fine with it. So we had directing, which we had Christopher Nolan nominated for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, and she was also like the first woman to be nominated for directing in like 15 or 20 years or something.
A long time. Another interesting thing, Sofia Coppola at the Cannes Film Festival won Best Female Director, and it was the first time since like 1969 that a female won that at that festival.
Wild.
Female director. Yeah.
You think I would be more more often, but
there's not a lot of women are directing movies, and I have only been like in the industry, so to speak, for like 4 or 5 years out here, and yeah, it's just weird. I was doing this set yesterday, and granted, this low budget non-union film is very different than Star Wars or something huge like that, but at least it's usually a very male heavy crew, and I don't know why that is. Chelsea, if you want to come over here and make a movie, you want to direct a movie, I'll be happy to produce it for you someday.
I'll do it.
And that's the thing, I'm clamoring to work with people outside of my circle. My circle's great. We just knocked 9 pages out in 8 hours yesterday, and that's impressive in terms of time, because we've got that down. But it's if you're listening to this, you're female filmmaker in LA, literally any filmmaker in LA, reach out. Or a wine drinker in New York, reach out.
Yeah.
You got people on both coasts. Wine about movies. Anyway.
So then we had Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread and Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water, and he was our winner.
Yes.
Guillermo, which was really great because he also won the Golden Globe for this for directing. Mm-hmm. So very, very cool.
It's kind of the honorary, hey, we should have given you the Oscar for Pan's Labyrinth. So here you go now.
Yeah, he was like, it took a long time, but I'm really happy to be here. So I was pumped about that, especially because I picked him to win.
Yeah, I mean, that means you've definitely got to go back and watch Pan's Labyrinth now. You are going to love it.
I will. It's on the list. So then we had...
And turn the subtitles off. See if you can infer the entire movie without knowing what they're actually saying. Just through emotion and sexy Spanish language.
I will drink a bottle of wine and then take that challenge on.
Bingo.
Done. So then we had actor in a leading role, which you guessed this category right. So we had Timothée Chalamet from Call Me By Your Name. He would have been the youngest Oscar winner ever if he did win.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because the one girl from the Bayous film, she was 5 when she got nominated. Remember that? It was...
Yeah, but she never won. Yeah, so I think the youngest winner is 26 ever, or 29.
Oh, wow. That's actually kind of surprising.
So I still have time.
You got it. You got plenty. Yeah, exactly. Boom.
Then we had Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread. We had Daniel
supposedly
Kaluuya.
his final role. Daniel Day-Lewis,
really?
World-renowned actor. Yeah, supposedly. I think he came back out of retirement for it, and I think he's done that once or twice. But now supposedly, this is it for DDL.
Well, sad he didn't win then.
Yep.
Because then we had Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, Gary Oldman from The Darkest Hour, and then Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
That was the name of the movie, Roman J. Israel Esquire?
Yeah.
Come on, give me... I love these. I love short titles. 2 syllables, maybe 3. Come on.
Yep.
No, whatever. There's nothing appealing. I don't know that... Maybe if you know that character in history or whoever that was, but it's such a niche audience.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well... I don't know. Denzel didn't win anyways. Gary Oldman won for Darkest Hour, playing Winston Churchill. I also this is weird, but I didn't know that Gary Oldman was from London and he was British, because I've only seen him in Batman as police officer Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, yeah.
And so I'm like, wait, he is like a really high voice and is a British man, and he was like very twitchy and nervous. He seemed like it wasn't like Commissioner Gordon who I had in my head, so that was weird. But Pumty won. I think that's his first ever win.
Yeah, I think it was too, and he is an incredible actor. He's been in so many different things you probably didn't even recognize him. Recently, let's see, he was in the Planet of the Apes films. My favorite one though, everyone loves it. He was in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and have you seen? Oh gosh, what's the movie with Bruce Willis and it's in the future? And it's Fifth Element. He's the villain in the Fifth Element. He's really.
I didn't watch that movie.
He was in Harry Potter. He was Harry's uncle.
Yep, I did watch.
That was Gary Oldman.
Interesting.
I forget his name. But yeah, that guy's got a range with the
Very
best of them.
cool. Mm-hmm. Well deserved win, because Winston Churchill is a really difficult character to embrace and play, and he did it with great passion and really done well. So, and
he had a nice little nod to America too. Like it wasn't a political, snipe he made. It was just, he has some very nice words for the homeland after.
Yeah, just like
homeland.
Yeah, just like thanks for giving this like little Southie London boy like an opportunity. And it was nice. I like when people remember that America does have a ton of opportunities. It's not all bad. It may seem very bad right now, but still a lot of positivity and greatness to America in general.
Exactly.
You were born on America's birthday, so like you should be the most patriotic person ever.
This is true. Yes, I don't think I'll ever leave. For those listening at home that didn't know, I was born on the 4th of July, so someday I want to be able to just throw a dart at a map and just go wherever it hits, because there's going to be a party waiting for me there.
That's true.
It's going to happen. Truth. I don't know what year.
Do it for the Dirty 30.
Dirty 30, I'm going to Burning Man.
Oh, shit. You told me about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very dirty. We're going to be in the desert.
Yeah.
For the actual day itself.
Is that next year or the year after?
Ooh, Dirty 30's coming up soon. I got about 4 or 5 months. Oh, yeah.
Damn. Brendan.
Yeah.
You're making me feel real old.
I'm 3 months away from being a decade away from being 40.
Ooh, let's not talk about this. My hands are sweating because I'm...
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Anyway, next category.
Actress in a leading role. We had Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep for The Post.
All right.
And you guessed Margot Robbie on this one.
Well, I think I said Margot... Did I say Margot a couple weeks ago and then switch it to Sally Hawkins last week?
Maybe. My official like our final ballots we put in are in my house in New York, and I don't have them with me, so I'll double check, but I do think you went with Sally Hawkins.
Yeah, my money was on her just because there's not a lot of films about mute characters, and the fact that she did it, and she's not, mute herself, that was phenomenal. Like Margot Robbie, she played this ice skater, and she didn't actually do a triple axel, but like that was the X factor that went into that performance that I think when you put a cherry on top like that, I can't believe neither one of those two won. Frances McDormand was great. She won it for Fargo because she's an incredible actor. I think she did a great job.
And then I loved her speech too.
Her speech was great, and
she was like
an inclusion writer. Did you hear that term?
Yes, yeah, which I didn't know what that meant, but I guess afterwards she explained that you can demand that like 30% or 50% of like the set you're working on be
a better balanced gender ratio.
Yes.
And especially with cast too, not just gender but ethnicity as well. I think the crew is probably more of the. I'm not sure which way they're like. Let's say hypothetically, the movie. Let's just take Shape of Water, for example, in a top secret government lab in the 50s. I mean, I'm sure there's data somewhere that supports the gender ratio, what it was at the time. I'm sure that was just the nature of the era. It was probably a male-heavy workforce in a place like that. But yeah, inclusion writers. And I think, do you see the Google search percentages or trends? Like after that, like you can see inclusion writer, like no one's ever Google searched it, and then it went up like 40,000%.
Oh my God, that's crazy. She was so funny. Her laugh was like insane when she was doing it. She's just so down to earth, and she was laughing, and it was just like the funniest laugh ever. And she had all the other women nominees stand up.
That
which
was
really
great. Yeah.
she's like, Meryl, if you do it, everybody else will do it. Like, just stand up. I want all these people standing up, which is really cool because a lot of women were nominated. So it was really cool to like see all of them dotted around the room, which was super cool. But yeah, so Frances won. She's cleaned the house. She's won all over, like, everywhere. I think Saoirse Ronan might have won once, but I don't remember.
I didn't like the clips that they played of the actors themselves. Like the one for Frances McDormand, they showed a clip, her monologue with the fake deer, which was the one part of the movie that I like, hated. Like I
literally thought of you when they did that. I was like, Brendan hates this fake deer, and I was like, they're really gonna show this really shitty deer on the Oscars right now. Thankfully, they only showed the deer for like a half a second,
yeah. But it was her line, and you didn't see the whole soliloquy in that clip. Like it worked for the clip preview, but like in the movie, it felt like this 3-minute, like, well, yep, life's tough right now, and you just showed up, dear. You must be a sign. Blah, 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 blah. I just thought it was a little on the nose.
Okay, and so the last category was Best Picture. Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Which I think everyone thought 3 Billboards was going to win.
And it didn't. The Shape of Water did.
A lot of people that I talked to did. And Shape did. Yeah, it did. And it was great. You know, I got to say, I had my gripes with it, as you've heard in a former episode. But in hindsight, maybe I've warmed up a little bit to the film. It was beautiful. It was
beautiful. And like, you guys can go listen to our past episode if you're curious about our thoughts on this movie. But I personally loved it. I think Brendan loved it for the most part. It was different. It was Spanish film style. Everything was so much more meaningful and symbolic,
not the most traditional Hollywood style film. Yeah.
Yes, like you had to follow along and pay attention, and there was meaning and substance and a romance, even though there was what word am I looking for here? An uncommon love, like, it's not the word I'm looking for.
Forbidden love?
Yeah, it just like isn't something you would expect. Unexpected love match, obviously it's an amphibian and a woman, but
would they have swiped right on each other? Would you swipe right on Big Fish Man?
She definitely would have. I wouldn't have, but
no.
She
even after a whole bottle of Piper Heidsieck?
Nope, wouldn't happen for me. I never did the dating app thing. Pete found me right at the beginnings of.
Oh, you're lucky. It's a trap. It's a trap.
So, guys, those were all of the categories that were
the 90th, and it was brought, and they announced the Best Picture. My biggest letdown of the whole night was like, so the coolest part last year was the Oscar switch. It was embarrassing for the people involved. I totally think it was staged, not by like those were authentic reactions. They had no clue that was happening, but like. That was the coolest 2 minutes on television last year. Like, I loved that. That was so, because there was so much of a stigma with the Oscars so white, and this, I really thought they were going to try, because Bonnie and Clyde came back out, the ones that did it last year. I thought like the power was going to go out and like the envelope was going to be a different color, or there was going to be something fun or some cool twist, because it's television. At the end of the day, it's television. I think the ratings are down just because, like this year, the last couple of years, because of all the political turmoil that's brought to the surface and the spotlight in Hollywood, they had to play it very safe. That was like the safest. I mean, I appreciate it because I'm invested in the industry, and I can appreciate a show like that. But yeah, I mean, it was very, and I want to say boring, but it's very routine. And at least they could have done is just, I wish there was some fun at the end, like the lights going off or something. Like, come on, it's TV, people. Get with the program. Trump's killing you in ratings. You can't let that happen. Give me something.
No, I wish that they would have done a little more something with it, but I am glad that they at least brought back the presenters from last year so they could get it right.
Were able to get it right. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, so they could have played on that more, but I also think they were so embarrassed about it that maybe they just wanted to get it right and get it done with this year. Jimmy Kimmel did touch on it for a second. He's like, so we only have one category left for the night. Nothing can go wrong. And hinting at last year that this was literally there was 30 seconds left in the show and something happened. So,
and that had never happened in 89 years. And with all the turmoil, the backstory, I totally think it was staged. But
It's so funny because it happened with Steve Harvey the year before with the
Right.
Miss Universe
Yeah.
contest. But I really want to find out how we get invited to these after parties. Like, how do I get to go to the Vanity Fair after party and Beyonce's after party and Madonna's after party? Like, how do we get in this circle?
I think we just have to crack the case of Hollywood. I think we need to have all of our Wham fam friends at home share this with your friends. Follow us, help blow up Wine About Movies. I mean, that way we're vetted next year when it comes around, and our credentials are legit, and we're
Yeah.
in, and we are
Yeah, Brendan and
a viable source,
Exactly.
an opinion in the arts and entertainment.
Brendan and I need to be at all the award shows next year. You guys don't know how good I would look on a red carpet.
Well, so we just did the Oscar reviews. What do you say? We should do like our own little show, like I don't know, next week or sometime soon. We should do like the whammies.
We could totally do that. I think that would be awesome.
Yes, and let's
Yeah, I think that any listeners should send us some comments on maybe some fun categories. Like, let's make these non-traditional.
let's think outside the box.
Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to do the whammies in a couple episodes. Send us your comments or your ideas, your categories, or anything that you think could be fun for the whammies. And we'll try to put something fun together. I think this would be fun. The first annual Whammy Awards.
Or what is a valid missing award too? Like best music mixing. Hey, maybe we can get. And then I don't know. What's a category that needs to exist that doesn't? Because there should be a best one line or best ensemble. Like films have ensembles, and there's no ensemble award for film. So yeah,
That's true.
Let us know what
They
you
have
think.
those for TV
We'll
shows,
do
right?
fun ones. Yeah, TV shows, because TV shows, there's usually like recurring characters throughout a season, so it makes more sense for a TV show. It really does. But it's still, there are some films where like Lord of the Rings, like the entire Fellowship killed it. Like, and no, there were no acting. Like, I think Ian McKellen got nominated twice. Sorry to defer to my favorite movie, but it's the single greatest achievement in the history of cinema, if not art. And there was no awards for performance. Like, did you see Return of the King? Samwise Gamgee made people cry. Anyway, sorry, tangent. Yeah, let us know categories you think we should create, and we'll give out some whammies a little bit later on this month.
Perfect. And we will think of a new movie to do next week. If you guys have a movie that you would like us to review for episode 11 of Wine About Movies, make sure you leave it in the comments or comment on Instagram and let us know. And you also need to make sure that you are subscribed to Wine About Movies. You give us a 5-star review, because I think we only have like 25 5-star review guys, and I know more than 25 of you listen to this, so we need some more reviews on there.
Yeah.
You could find me at Chell Loves Wine. You can find Brendan at Bagel Video, and you can find Wine About Movies at Wine About Movies, all on Instagram. We love new followers and talking to you guys about what you want to see, so go and find us.
10 episodes in. Hope you're having fun. Chell and I really are too. So we'll be back at you same time next week. In the meantime, though, folks, be careful with your champagne. Like, do not open this thing warm and do not shake it up.
Yes, that's our PSA for the day. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.